Hi, and welcome to Focus on Film. I'm your host, Mark Andrews. On our show, we'll be highlighting and discussing film and video work produced by students at OCC's Film and Video program. On tonight's show, we're going to take a look at two different works from director-writer Steve Franks. The first one is called Coming Soon, and it's a parody of popular movies. It was also an award winner at OCC's annual film festival. After the film, we'll be back to talk with Steve about it. So now let's sit back and enjoy Coming Soon.
Tom Cruise. In The Color of Money, he delighted audiences as he proved himself to be the best pool player in the world. In Risky Business, he showed everyone that he was indeed the best young businessman. In Cocktail, audiences cheered as Tom struggled to become the best bartender. And in Top Gun, was there any doubt at all who was the best fighter pilot? Well, guess who's back and out to become the #1 fisherman in the world in Touchstone's Fishtail. Yes, featuring all the cruise standards, including the patented cruise dance scene.
I'm gonna be the best, man. I'm gonna be the best fisherman there is, and nothing can stop me from getting that. For goodness sake, I got the hippie shake. Yeah, I got the shake. I got the hippie shake. I can't sit still with the hippie shake. Yeah, I get myself now with the hippie shake. Yeah, it's in the bag. The hippie shake. Well, I can shake it to the left, shake it to the right. You do the hippie shake with all your mind on the baby. Yeah, come on, shake. Oh, it's in the bag.
Featuring Mark Harmon in his most touching role as Tom's dad.
Son, you've been fishing with those small poles long enough. It's time to start using Big Emma. This pole's the one. Take good care of her.
Yes, Tom Cruise is electric. He's diverse. He's the most exciting young actor in America today.
To being the best.
The best.
Yes, he's more skilled than Estevez, more exciting than Charlie Sheen, and he's coming to your town. So cast off for the experience of a daytime. The year was 1958. Richie Valens was 17 and the #1 young lad performer out of Pacoima in the United States. This is the story of youthful dreams, dedication, and the strange psychic inklings that forewarned him of his ultimate destiny.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always had this strange, recurring gut feeling that someday I'd have a hit single. Actually, 3 hit singles. 2 in the top 5, 1 in the top 40. I always had this strange feeling that I'd leave school and buy my mom a house. And I always kind of had this weird kind of notion that I'd be involved in a plane crash somewhere in the Midwest in a snowstorm in a charter plane with 3 major recording stars, 2 of them being Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. But that's just kind of a hunch.
Featuring Issei Morales in a stellar performance as Richie's brother Bob.
Rosie! I wanna see my baby, Rosie. Rosie! I wanna see my baby, Rosie.
Yeah, Rich, can we try that one more time? Well, come on. Okay, you're starting to get warmed up. You're sounding great, Rich. Let's try it one more time. Well, come on, let's go. All right, Rich. Just one more. Just one more, babe.
Come on, let's go.
Now, Richie, I know your full name is Ricky Ricardo Montalban Cartagena Tijuana Ted Valenzuela, but you're gonna have to shorten it to Richie with a T, Valens with a V.
Hey, wait a minute, man. That's a family name, buddy. That's my name, too. That's my daddy's name, man.
Richie?
Okay.
And who can forget the beautiful though repetitious song he wrote for his true love?
Sorry, sir, your 3 minutes are up. Please deposit another 25 cents.
Rosie, I wanna see my baby, Rosie. Rosie! Turn that off! You're ruining the whole effect!
Wanted to have a name that was synonymous with being good and great, so I took the name Good, but it had too many O's in it. So I took one off and became God, which was taken at the time. So I went to use the name of one of my favorite artists of all time. Sonny Bono, and the music itself is pretty much the same.
The most inspirational for
The voice line is exactly the same.
Is that I got you, babe, Desire. Desire, same song basically. Almost just a change in transposed from
same
F,
progression.
from F to G, I think.
Well, it was
chord change.
They say we're young and we don't care. Desire.
Same thing. Basically the same.
I believe in the kingdom come.
Wait a second. Wait, what? Wait. Turn off the camera. Well, do you have the sheet?
Hello? Hello? Do you have your sheet? Yes, the lyric sheet. Okay, can you show me the spot where it says, choir comes in, screaming at the top of their lungs, giving me and Adam a headache and drowning out the drums? No, you can't.
Can you see where it says Bono on here? This is me, right?
And also, can you show me the spot where it says, hey choir, go ahead and make up your own lyrics, even though you two wrote the song right in the first place? I can't seem to find it on here, and you know why? Because it's not on the sheet. Can we do this right and no more of this searching, looking, higher stuff? I think that's pretty much assumed when we say we haven't found what we're looking for. Let's do it again, please.
We figured since we were U2, we could pretty much do anything we want. One of the highlights came in the colored portion of the film, when we worked with one of the most popular artists in Europe, besides ourselves. I don't think you two knew quite what to expect from me initially. What we found is our music has several of the same elements. They sing about street bums, I sing about girls' bums. It's a lot alike.
And welcome back. With me right now is writer-director Steve Frank. Steve, after taking a look at that, what made you do a parody from Tom Cruise all the way to Richie Valens to George Michael?
Well, you know, Mark, I think it's just something that needed to be said. You sit through a Tom Cruise movie and you know what's going to happen before it happens. And I mean, it's not any malicious intent against those movies. I love them, you know, but it's just something that needs to be done.
Well, obviously, when you take a look at the dueling fish poles, you must have seen Cocktail and obviously The Color of Money.
Yeah, The Color of the Money was the one that struck it for me. When I, you know, how far can you take Tom dancing with something? And then in Cocktail, they got him throwing bottles around. I'm surprised he wasn't throwing mental patients around in Rain Man or something.
When you shot that, was there any people around? I mean, when you were going back and forth with the fishing rods, I'm sure some people out on Balboa would have.
Yeah, we were down in Balboa, and at first it was just like 1 or 2 people, but we had a cameraman and the sound man, I don't know why. But by the time we were done, there's like 25, 30 people. Just they just had no clue there's a man dancing with 2 fishing poles, and you know, we had quite a crowd. And if I was ever going to be embarrassed in my life, I think that was the moment. But no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now, I noticed in the one scene when you were doing a parody of La Bamba, you were doing that monotonous song in the phone booth. Why don't you tell us a little bit behind the setup of that scene?
Okay, that scene is supposed to be in Pacoima in the original La Bamba movie. We shot that in the bowels of Santa Ana at about 5:30 at night. It was like pretty much the last shot of the whole film. And I don't know why I chose Santa Ana, the closest to Pacoima, I guess, look that we have in Orange County. But we were all dressed up in sort of Hispanic makeup, and there were a lot of
honks.
A lot of people who were wondering what in the world was going on, and we just wanted to get out of there at that point. We just really didn't need to be there much longer.
Well, when you take a look at this coming soon, obviously it's a tremendous parody on the Cruise movies, on some of the stuff that people try to make us believe is intentional and that they really are sincere. But when you get to the U2 thing, that really had me going there.
Yeah, U2 is something when I saw Rattle and Hum on opening night, and we laughed through the whole thing. I mean, I like U2, but you can only have so much self-serving before it starts to become funny.
No, it's something interesting. We were watching this. It's 2 years since you made that, but it really is still timely.
Yeah, the funny thing is that kind of comedy is really making a comeback within Living Color and other shows that are now starting to become spin-offs like of it. And I don't know, Tom Cruise almost became outdated after he did Born on the 4th of July and Rain Man, but luckily he saved me and did Days of Thunder, where he was the best race car driver.
He still has some material left.
So yeah, Tom's going to be a source of material for a long time.
Now, you wrote that. Did you do any changing when you started to shoot those scenes?
Those scenes, the funny thing, this came in a part of my, I guess, filmmaking career, per se, when I used to start out with maybe 7 or 8 lines written down on, I want to get to the line where I say I think I'm going to crash in the plane. That's written out. But everything else is, let's see what happens once we get out there. Yeah, especially that fishing pole scene. It was just give me the poles and let me see what I can do with it. And I wanted to throw the fish in the air and catch it on the hook.
Okay, as I said earlier, we're going to take a look at 2 different works from Steve Franks. In our next section, we're going to take a look at a scene from his new one called Sequence. Now, this is shot in black and white, and in this particular scene, play kind of close attention to the manipulation of sound. Steve, why don't you set it up for us?
Well, this is the first scene of the film. It's kind of setting the tone of what you're going to see. It really doesn't need to be set up. We just have a person, and the music. If you pay attention to it, the music was all our own music, and all the sound in it was Foleyed. It's fake, that's what it means.
All right, let's take a look at Sequence.
thief. I don't know how. I don't know how you... I'll prove it. I'll prove it to him. I don't need your hanger. I don't need your help.
Well, as you can see, Steve, that was quite a different version from your other one coming soon. What made you come up with that kind of idea?
Well, what I wanted to do was something completely different than anything I'd done before. I've always felt that everything I do should be in addition to anything I've done in the past, and you know, it's important to diversify. I figured I'd conquered the comedy aspect, and now it's time to move on.
Now you tackled film noir.
Yeah, I've done that. And
well, when I saw the way you set up some of the angles on this, did you really sit and go to the video store and rent some old 1940s films?
Not really. We have our influences. I did this whole film with Mike Gadecki, who's my cameraman, and he's just incredible. You know, I can just let him find these images, but we framed shots we wanted, and the script pretty much called for everything we needed. And we'd gone from what we'd been influenced by, but we didn't go actually watch movies and go, I want that shot, I want that shot, I want that shot.
Now with the actors, did you hire some local actors, or did you use some just people that aren't familiar with this type of medium?
No, most of the people in my films are my friends.
That can be risky.
Yeah, that can be risky. I prefer to take, rather than work with actors who are a big pain, I'd rather work with someone who has a good personality, or someone who's really outgoing or charming in person, and work with them to make them into an actor. And sometimes that works out great, as the case of Bill Pulver was in that last movie, and Brian Laster, who also worked out great in the first film we ever tried him in. But sometimes you end up just dumping a lot of scenes.
Well, that can be
Thanks for your
expensive
help.
too.
I'm sorry we had to edit you out, which happens often.
Now, when you put together something like Sequence, did you storyboard it?
No, I prefer not to storyboard. I prefer to make the images I want very clear in the script, and then actually go out to the location and say, okay, let's get this, let's get that. And as you go through and you do take 3, do take 4, take 5, it metamorphosizes into something bigger, and you have, oh, let's do this shot, let's do that shot. And you come up with the idea there, and then you don't have to say, well, I'd like to get this, and then show up somewhere and say, well, we can't get that.
Okay, so when you go to set up a scene, you basically have an idea of what you're going to shoot. Are you open to suggestions from the cast and crew?
Oh, very much so, especially if it's a good suggestion.
No, but if it's a bad one.
If it's a bad one, I will certainly tell the person who made the suggestion it's a bad one, and open the rest of the crew to heckling of that person. But most of the time, people have something intelligent to say, you know, and I'm always willing to listen to that. I mean, you have to accept compromise.
When you sit down to start putting together, do you have an idea, or just something comes to you in the middle of the night and you run out and try to put it down on paper and take it from there?
In fact, this story right here, it's about time travel and dreams, ESP, and stuff like that. And it actually did come to me in a dream, and I wrote it down in the middle of the night. And I write down stuff all the time. Usually nothing comes of it, but this, I told a couple people the idea, and they said, "Wow, that's fantastic." So I decided I'd go ahead and write the script, and I wrote the script in 3 months, which is an incredibly short amount of time to write a script, which is 65, 70 pages.
How long did it take to shoot it?
10 weeks.
Now, is that from start to finish?
That was from start to the first night we filmed to showing it at the video festival.
Now, music plays an important role in this. Did you already have an idea of the music that you wanted to use?
We wanted to write as much music as possible of our own, and we did probably about 30% of our own music. Either Mike did a lot of his stuff on the keyboard. That scene we just saw was all his music on 2 sequencers, and I did a lot of stuff. I don't play keyboards, so I did it on an acoustic guitar or electric guitar, and I used effects, so you really couldn't tell where the music was coming from. It sounded like almost an orchestra.
When you finally get to the editing bay, do you have somebody that works with you, or do you cut it by yourself?
No, Mike and myself cut everything ourselves. I could never imagine giving my film to somebody and saying, all right, now you take it. Especially we do 9 or 10 takes on just about every shot.
That can be a horror story, though, when you're doing post-production.
It can be a horror story. We usually go through beforehand and decide what we want, and then go back, and then if it all fits together right, we use it. Otherwise, we start rewinding and fast-forwarding the tape.
Are you organized?
We're getting more and more organized every time. We wanted to, you know, we set out at the beginning of the film, we'll say, okay, we'll put each person's takes on different tapes so we can just pop them in back and forth, but that never happens. You end up just pretty much searching, running and gunning. But we do write down every shot and what number it is on the counter and all that.
Now, we spoke earlier, and you said that you like to dabble in all different types of media. What do you enjoy most?
That's a lot of people ask me that question. I like acting. Acting is fun and it's easy. You know, I think there's no pressure and someone can give you the stuff and say go. But I also do stand-up comedy, and that's the most immediate.
I saw your cruise act.
Yeah. That's the most immediate because you have a live audience there, and there's nothing like hearing 2,000 people laugh at the same time. I mean, it's ultimately most rewarding. But I'm a writer.
Well, you got a fertile imagination. Which do you want to do? Do you want to direct, do you want to write, or do you want to be both?
I'd like to do both.
Well, obviously, from what I see here, you got a lot of talent there.
Well, I hope so.
What's going to happen next?
Right now, I'm just finished a script called Day After Yesterday. It's kind of a romantic comedy. I haven't done that yet. It probably is going to run about 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's the bulkiest project I've done yet. And it's pretty much the story of my life. And so I think it's really funny, and it has a lot of poignant things to say we can all learn from.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more from Steve Frank. Steve, thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Well, we're out of time, as you can see, and that about wraps it up for this edition on Focus on Film. For all of us here, have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.